Hi, welcome. I'm Megan, and I want to tell you a little bit about technology, learning, and action research. Maybe you're wondering, what do all those things have to do with each other? And I tell you to stop wondering and keep watching, because we're going to do that together. This year, I took Technology and Language Learning, which, yeah, based on the title, you probably have a pretty good idea what it entails, but it's a lot more complex than that. This isn't just give your students a computer and that counts. This is about real language use, authentic materials, and discovering what place modern essentials like technology have in the lives of our students. But how do we do that, really? Well, the best way is to try it for ourselves. One way that language learning can progress into the modern landscape is by having tech tools to create materials. And one such popular tool is Instagram. The kids have it, you probably have it, and maybe even your parents too. It's big. How do we harness it? Personally, I decided to create Instagram Reels. They're flashy, short, and pack a punch in a small span of time. It's what we're all used to these days. I also thought videos might appeal to a younger audience. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I need to explain the planning phase to you. I began by utilizing the action research framework: plan, act, observe, and finally, reflect. To do this, I had to plan out the content of my reels, what they aimed to teach, and who they aimed to teach. The theme going forward is phrases that will make you sound more fluent in English. I chose this because it is one bit of expertise I am able to provide, and it is also a fun and always relevant topic. My target audience was middle school age students, since ages 15 to 19 are the highest users of Instagram in Indonesia. But what catches a youth's attention? Definitely the random idioms, so reel number 1 is all about ears. Gotcha, it's more like I'm all ears. I planned out a script with a maximum length of 1 minute, attention spans, people, and kept it short and sweet. I started with a catchy intro, stated the phrase and its definition, then asked the audience to add their own favorite phrases in the comments. All 3 reels followed this format. Hold Your Horses is a personal favorite of mine. It has just the right amount of whimsy, and no one ever quite sees it coming. I also thought, surely, a phrase about horses will draw some attention. I've caused confusion with it before, thanks to that persisting myth that we Midwesterners still commute by equine means. Not all of us. It's a very natural phrase in English with an uncomplicated history, so it was perfect for the length of an Instagram reel. Don't worry about it. I drove my grandparents crazy with this one. Meg, you should always say you're welcome when people thank you. Yeah, well, look, we young people are sort of anxious. It just became a part of our vocabulary to tell people not to worry. This is one of those interesting phrases, though, that has different meanings depending on age and the context, so it's perfect to use as an example of mastering those subtle exchanges in another language. So, there's all 3 of our ideas for the reels. But how did they perform? Let's check. This chart compares reels 1, 2, and 3 based on the number of views, likes, comments, saves, and shares per reel. As of May 9th, reel 1 had the highest number of views and likes at 716 views and 59 likes. It had 3 comments with no saves or shares. Reel 2 had 634 views, 36 likes, 4 comments, and no saves or shares. Reel 3 had a higher view count at 656, but only 26 likes. There were no comments or saves, but 1 share. Due to the creator content settings, I only recorded watch data and account engagement for Reel 3. Reel 3 had a watch time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 58 seconds, with an average watch time of 11 seconds. The reel reached 357 accounts total, 27 of whom interacted with the video. 21 of those interactions were from accounts already following my account. 6 non-followers interacted, making up around 22% of the engagement. A few things can be surmised from this data. First, reel number 1 did best overall with the highest view and like count. Because I rarely post to the account, one possible explanation is the novelty factor of reel number 1, boosting its engagement within my own follower list. Excluding my responses to comments, it also has the highest number of comments. Second, although Reels 1 and 2 received comments, all came from pre-existing followers, with only one comment from Reel number 2 relating to the topic of the video. This finding correlates with the number of engaged accounts, the majority of which were already following, at about 78%. This was within my expectations. Although I changed the hashtags between posts, as well as the music and phrases, I did not use any trending audio, nor use any viral video strategies beyond quick paste editing. However, a majority of the likes for reel number 1 do come from my middle school followers, suggesting that the target audience was reached. Despite this, there is a decreasing trend throughout the 3 reels. I have 2 possible conclusions from this information. First, a series of videos loses the audience's interest over time. I cite the thumbnail for Reel 2, which included the phrase Part 2, as maybe having dissuaded viewers from watching without knowing the context of the first video. Second, perhaps the series of videos was not engaging to the audience, who sensed a repetitive style of video. The small revisions between posts, such as thumbnail design, the time of post, hashtags, or music, do not indicate a significant difference in engagement. The views are within 100 views of each other, and the likes show a general decrease. As for Reel 3's average watch time, I think it shows the somewhat tenuous relationship a beginner like me can have with social media. Although the idea of algorithms is complex and somewhat out of scope for this video, it's worth mentioning that according to Narayanan's work on understanding recommendation algorithms, the likelihood that a user engages with a post recommended to them is less than 1% on most platforms. This isn't to suggest that my data here is not useful, more that understanding the reasons why people only stay for 11 seconds is complex, as engagement algorithms work powerfully in the aggregate, i.e., a bigger scale. With this in mind, considering these were the very first reels I've posted, and they reached a significant number of my followers I was aiming for, the reels succeed at what I set out to do: make learning videos for students who want to sound more fluent. The fact that this video then reached 357 accounts, despite only 27 interacting, shows that the use of short-form video for language learning is possible. It will simply vary on account size, follower list, and the recommendation engagement. After all, 6 non-followers interacting is technically a surplus for me, considering I started with only my following list as an expectation. In the future, perhaps uploading consistently, more often, and with more time dedicated to identifying trends in English learning would boost engagement with technology in language learning. So, what have we learned? Well, it's still true that handing someone a piece of technology does not necessarily equate learning. This factor varies just as much as social media's lack of accuracy when assessing the individual. Life is weird, people are unique, and so there's not one neat answer. Instead, the benefit of technology in language learning is its ability to adapt and change based on the needs of students for an authentic experience. As a prospective teacher, if I wanted to use Instagram as a tool to engage with my students, I would have to better understand the tool itself in order to meet them where they're at. The limitation of the tool then, of many tools I suppose, is that its design will often determine a great deal of the way people interact with it, giving us all the more reason to grow with the technology in order for it to work. Planning, filming, and reflecting on these Instagram Reels has shown me that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new today and that these reels inspire you to create something of your own. Stay tuned, check out the channel, and goodbye.